Excitement around 5G is reaching frenzied proportions, but the reality is going to mean investment in fibre access like never before, as well as impacting on the mobile backhaul and front haul. This is all part of fixed and mobile convergence, and addressing some of these issues in the ECOC Market Focus today has been Paolo Monti from Ericsson. Paolo, first of all, tell us your view on the status of fixed mobile convergence at the moment.
Yeah. Now, fixed and mobile convergence is a very wide subject. I mean, it involves different areas of the network. I mean, starting from the services, there will be same services, similar services delivered over the fixed access and the mobile access infrastructure. You think about the traditional voice, video, data, but then moving into higher speed as well. So there will be requirements for these services to be present both on the fixed access network. And this will drive not only a development of an infrastructure for the fixed and also for the mobile, but also the possibility of having synergies between the infrastructure at different levels, from the physical level, from the application level, and then we will see also a change of this architecture that is going in the future more and more into a data center centric solutions with the distribution also of processing into micro data centers where you can have the service access closer to the user with the benefit of lower latency for new particular services. So there will be definitely a synergies between fixed and mobile. It is a very wide subject. It's not only about the physical, it's about the services, it's about the overall architecture.
And how will this impact on 5G?
Yeah, impact on 5G, I mean, when we look into the resources that are into play, I mean, the main one is the spectrum, the obvious one is the spectrum. It's very expensive. Operators are making huge investment in the spectrum, so they have to make sure that whatever technology they put in place, they maximize the use of the spectrum. They have this better spectral efficiency in terms of bit per second, per hertz, per square kilometers. And this you can achieve by having more bandwidth delivered to the users, closer to the users, to have cells densification, so you have smaller cells where you can deliver more bandwidth and reach the end users. But at the same time, this will drive also the requirement for coordination between different cells, because you can imagine that densification will imply also interference. You need to avoid this interference and even play into your favor in order to have, for example, transmission from different cells to the same terminal, and then having features like dual connectivity and so on. So this will imply a completely new architecture for 5G, which will imply also the very high utilization of fiber, both for backhaul and front haul.
Yeah, I mean, tell us a bit more about the impact on front haul and backhaul.
Yeah, the impact will be that, of course, with the densification of cells, you better have a central point of connection between base station in order to have a better coordination with between the base station, because coordination is allowed if you can coordinate at very low latency between different cells. And the best way is to have fiber connectivity between the basebands, having the introduction of new architectures like the centralized RAN, which will enable to concentrate into a baseband hotel, different baseband. And this will drive an enormous amount of bandwidth and connectivity between the baseband hotel and the remote antenna. We introduce a new interface called the CPRI, Common Public Radio Interface, and in the future eCPRI as well, which is more tailored for 5G as well. And this will drive additional bandwidth, additional fiber for the front haul. And the same is also on the backhaul. The backhaul will scale more in terms of number of users and the bandwidth used. The CPRI is depending on the number of antennas and the number and the spectrum that you need to deliver. And it's 10 times more the spectrum that you have on the air.
So if I'm a mobile operator, how can I do the best to future-proof my network, if future-proof is a word we can even use these days?
I mean, whatever you do, I mean, of course, there is not one solution that fits all. So you have to look into the correct planning for the particular network in the particular cities, understand where is the demand, in terms of fixed access and mobile access, starting from high-density urban and suburban areas. And then you see that you need to make sure that whatever is the infrastructure that you put in place, it's scalable, because today you have a particular coverage and capacity, but tomorrow maybe there will be a new high-rise building and you need to deliver new capacity. So you need to make sure that this network can evolve in a flexible way, is scalable, because the more you add capacity, the more you need the bandwidth to be delivered over front haul and backhaul. So it's better to choose for a backhaul system, a front haul system that delivers in full transparency all the services. And you can really use the same infrastructure also. For example, once you have fiber and you have DWDM, you can also use for other business connection and wavelength services and so on to the user. So this is a way to make it future-proof and scalable.
Well, it's going to be an interesting few years as 5G comes in. In the meantime, thank you very much for speaking to us.
Thank you. Thank you.